Okay, hello. Good day, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you for tuning in to the Topliners Web Travel Series. How is everyone doing in this extremely wet weather? It feels like we just started this series last week, but we have actually done this for more than 3 months. It's quite unbelievable for the three of us here, Oliver, Catharina, and myself. It seems like our bi-weekly gathering every Wednesday night is going to end soon, but no worries. Okay, we will have future sessions. Okay, so today will be the last of this series, and then we will take a break to plan for future sessions. Okay. Unfortunately, the travel condition at this moment is still very uncertain. But we are also starting to see more positive news, such as more vaccines entering the last phase of testing, as well as Singapore having the possibility of easing the local measures and entering phase 3. So those are some positive news that we can capitalize on now, to feel a little bit better. So let's all stay hopeful, and I'm very sure we will be able to travel once again. Okay, so tonight we have quite a few regulars joining us again. But still do allow me to formally introduce myself to those who just joined us today. I'm Ming from Topliners Club, and I will be your host for today's session. So Topliners Club is a licensed bespoke travel agency in Singapore, and we basically customize all the itineraries and arrange the most suitable experience and accommodations for our customers. So you can find out more about us at toplinersclub.com. That is our website. So together with me is the co-host and also my business partner, Julian. So he'll be handling the technical part of this session. So Julian is actually our African specialist, and so do check out all of his previous sessions on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel, and it's called Topliners Club as well. Just YouTube for this term, and you will be able to see our channel. And the next person I would like to introduce, I'm sure you guys are probably very familiar with by now, after 3.5 months. And she's our guest speaker all the way from Zurich, Miss Catharina. Hello, Catharina.
Hello, Ming. Hello, good evening, everybody. I'm so happy to be back. And it's what Ming said, it feels like a family. I have the feeling I know you all. I sometimes see your names in the chat. And of course, we get some questions from you. And I'm really very happy that you have joined us during all these sessions. So thank you very much. And look forward to today's session as well.
Yeah, thank you for being here. So Catharina is actually a veteran travel professional running a Swiss travel company called Swiss Epic Tours, and is basically our ground handling partner in Switzerland. So I hope you guys have prepared a lot of tough questions for her. And if she has answered your questions well today, do buy her a nice cup of coffee or a nice glass of wine if you see her in Switzerland, okay, in future. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, and today we are also very honored to have Oliver, also a regular face on our webinars every session. So he's based in Singapore from the Switzerland Tourism Board. He has also lived in both Switzerland and Singapore for a number of years. So he'll be sharing some unique perspective with us. Hello, Oliver. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, everybody. I'm happy to be back and a bit sad that it's already the last Switzerland session. But I'm happy to have a wonderful, nice session with a perfect itinerary. And I hope that everyone can travel to Switzerland soon.
Yeah. So, Oliver, will you be going back for Christmas?
I wanted to, but the quarantine is still a bit, it gives me some headache. The quarantine back to Singapore, of course. But I still have some days to decide whether I want to go or not. I miss Switzerland a lot. I miss the cool temperatures, even though it's getting cooler here as well at the moment. But the whole Christmas feeling actually in Switzerland is a bit more authentic than here. But yeah, I think maybe Christmas next year, not this year.
So anything else you miss about Switzerland for Christmas other than the weather?
My family.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, and the beautiful landscape and the cities, the villages, the mountains, the snow. Yeah, the whole package actually.
Sure. Okay, so let's move on. Sorry for the sidetrack talking. Okay, so Topliners Web Travel Series are basically what bite-sized travel webinars for the various handpicked destinations that we have chosen. So we will endeavor to keep this session within a maximum of 1 hour, depending on the length of your Q&A as well. So for those that have religiously joined us every session since we started, please accept my heartfelt gratitude to you for your kind support. And for those who have just found out about us, you can actually find our previous episodes at our YouTube channel as well, okay? So today we will be talking about Switzerland's best sample itineraries, where we will be sharing with you on how you can actually build a fruitful itinerary that is cost effective and yet allows you to experience most part of Switzerland effectively. So, but do note that this is really just a sample route, okay, that you can consider, because traveling in Switzerland is extremely flexible, you know, with the first class transport system. So this is just a sample route that you can consider. And ultimately, when we plan a trip for you, we can plan it according to your budget, your interest, the pace of travel that you are comfortable with, as well as the amount of time you have to travel. So these are some important considerations that we will have to get from you when we plan the trip for you. Yeah. So don't take it that the itinerary we will be sharing today is cast in stone and have to be done in this way, okay? There are many, many ways to do it. This is just one way that you can experience many things in one trip, okay? That's our recommendation. So this itinerary that we'll be sharing today will be especially suitable for those with limited time, but wants to see a more, want to see as much of Switzerland as possible, okay? And then for those who want a more relaxed and probably slower pace holiday, just let us know and we can customize it in such a way that things like we can add in additional nights, and then we can also recommend different activities or more activities for you during your trip. So it's all tailor-made for you. Yeah, so feel free to type in your questions during the session, and we will answer as we go along, okay, whenever we feel that the time is right to answer it. And then feel free to write to us as well by email if you have further questions, and we will answer them promptly, okay? The contact details will be shown at the end of the session, so do take note of that. So on to our last session. I will hand over the time to our guest speaker, Miss Catharina, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Ming. Thank you very much. I will share my screen with you all you can see the presentation we have prepared about these sample itineraries. I think it must be visible to everybody right now, correct?
Yes.
Yes, you can see it. Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, so as Ming said, we have designed a sample itinerary of 9 days, which covers the most of Switzerland, and which is basically also a resume of the last couple of sessions. So for those of you who have joined us during the last couple of months, you know, we have been speaking about visiting mountains in Switzerland and where to drink the best wine and with a nice wine tasting, or how to discover Switzerland by hiking or by e-biking, or how the panoramic trains work and the travel system in general. Now, for today's session, we have made a resume of all these topics we have been talking about, and we have put them into one 9 days itinerary. Now, in front of you on the screen, you can see the map of Switzerland, and the main airport where you would be arriving is Zurich Airport. So that is here in the north of Switzerland. And the advantage if you come from Singapore is that you will have most probably a morning flight. There is a direct flight from Singapore to Zurich, and you will be arriving in the morning. There is one arriving around 6 o'clock a.m. and one around 8 o'clock a.m. At the moment, of course, these kind of things can change. But it means that the first day when you arrive to Switzerland, you can already enjoy the beauties of our country. As you can see, we would travel day by day. Afterwards, I'm going to explain you day by day what we can do, but this just for the overview. We would start in Zurich, and then we would travel to Lucerne. That is a little bit more down, as you can see here in the middle almost of the country. Here we can visit one of the mountains, Mount Rigi, maybe you have heard of, Mount Titlis as well. And then we would continue via Interlaken until the western part of the country. Here you can see Montreux. This is not so far away from Geneva, which is the other big city in Switzerland. Afterwards, we would go to Zermatt in the south of the country, which is very famous because of this Matterhorn mountain from the Walt Disney movies, for example. Afterwards, we have planned in a panoramic train ride to reach the east of Switzerland. And from the east of Switzerland, you would have some time to spend in one of the natural parks. And afterwards, we would travel back to Zurich. Now, on this sample itinerary, we have included several means of transportation. So let's start with day one. Day one we have planned on a Sunday, but once again, it's just a sample itinerary, so you can actually arrive any day of the week when there is a flight and what is most convenient for you. If you would arrive on a Sunday, for example, you would be arriving in the morning. What we would do then is, of course, meet and greet you at Zurich Airport. There would be somebody waiting for you to deliver you train tickets, a resume of the itinerary, all necessary documents you need, all information you need for your stay in Switzerland. And of course, there would be also some time to get a SIM card if you need it, to do some shopping at the airport if you really need to buy something already on your arrival day. That is possible. And the good part of this is there would be somebody lively at the airport that can help you out with all the first questions you might have. I can imagine when you travel and when you reach a different country where you have maybe not been before, it's nice when somebody is waiting for you, helps you with your luggage, and accompanies you to your hotel and gives you the first kind of information what you need for your stay. So then we would transfer you in a private vehicle to your hotel in Zurich, and the rest of the day you can then spend at leisure in Zurich. So you could do whatever you like to do. Of course, if you prefer to not travel by private vehicle, but you want to use already the train system, is also possible, because from Zurich Airport to Zurich City, you only take like 20 minutes by train. So it's really not far away. It's a very short distance. As you have the rest of the day at leisure in Zurich, we have here some options of what you could do. For example, to have a first overview of the town, we could plan in the afternoon a running tour or a walking tour in Zurich City to see the first highlights. Maybe you would like to visit one of the museums in Zurich, also possible. If you have this travel pass for the trains, then most of the museums are even included, so there is no extra fee if you want to visit one of the museums. Another option would be to do a hike, a short hike, of course. It is your arrival day, so you must calculate and count a little bit, maybe with the jet lag, or you may be tired a little bit of traveling. So then it's possible as well to do a short hike in the afternoon, not too difficult. This is the hike we have been talking about 2 weeks ago, 1.5 hours hike in the area of Zurich with a beautiful panoramic view over the lake and over the mountain area already. You could travel up by train to start your hike afterwards, and then travel down by cable car and take a train back to Zurich. Of course, there is plenty of other possibilities to do in Zurich on a Sunday afternoon. You could rent a bicycle, for example, if you would like to do a cycling tour already. You could visit some chocolate places if you would like. So there is a lot of possibilities to do, but on purpose, the first day we would plan a little bit some time at leisure for you can accommodate a little bit in the new country where you are. Overnight, we would suggest to do it in Zurich, not too far away. Take it easy on your first day and enjoy the first beauties of Switzerland. Then on the second day, which is in our itinerary a Monday, we would suggest you would travel by train from Zurich to Lucerne. We have a short map here on the right-hand side, and you can see the distance is not too long. Actually, in 45 until 50 minutes by train, you reach the city of Lucerne if you start in Zurich. So it's a pleasant ride by train, I would say. Then afterwards, we would suggest you take a boat on the lake of Lucerne to reach the cogwheel train station. And this cogwheel train would then bring you up Mount Rigi. That is, for me, one of the most beautiful mountains in the northern or central part of Switzerland. Mount Rigi has fantastic views over the Lake of Lucerne, also a lake at the other side of the mountain, which is the Lake of Zug. And you can do a short, comfortable hike here as well. If you like to go hiking, you can hike a part of this mountain down. It's not too long, like 30, 35 minutes, more or less. And you have actually beautiful views all the way. The picture here on the right-hand side, you can see here the railway. This is from the train up to Mount Rigi. And the lake you can see here is the Lake of Lucerne. So this is the view you would have during the train ride up to the mountain. And if you do partly a hike here in this area, you have a little bit a similar view as well. Then afterwards, you could travel back to Lucerne, again by boat if you like. And you could visit the city of Lucerne, walk around in the old part of town, visit one of the most beautiful wooden bridges in Switzerland. It's an old one with beautiful frescoes as well from the 15th century. There is the famous Lion Monument in Lucerne. We have the water tower and beautifully decorated houses as well. So that's a possibility. And then you can opt to stay an overnight in Lucerne, or you could travel back by train to Zurich. As I said, doesn't take you very long. Now, if you feel you want to relax also a little bit, maybe after this short hike you can do in the morning, you can maybe try out as well one of the wellness centers. During this session about the mountains, we have spoken about Mount Rigi as well. And halfway up Mount Rigi, there is actually a beautiful spa, which is a fantastic experience because you are inside the warm water with beautiful views over the mountains. Most of the times you can even see the snow. So that's maybe something you would like to try out already on your second day. I mean, you are on holidays. It's nice to visit the country. And at the same time, it's maybe nice to relax a little bit in between. So this is possible to do by train, of course. It's the most cost-effective way. And as we said already, it's very comfortable to travel by train in Switzerland. Of course, there is also always the possibility to book a tour like this with a private driver, a private guide, or something like that is possible. But in Switzerland, not really necessary because the railway system works so well. But it's completely up to your own taste and your own preferences. Then we would move on to day 3. Day 3 in our itinerary would be a Tuesday. And here we have planned to visit one of the mountains with snow. One of the mountains with snow, Mount Titlis. Mount Titlis is not too far away from Lucerne, approximately 45 minutes away. From Zurich, more or less 1 hour and a half. Also easy to reach by train. Now, Mount Titlis is a quite high mountain, over 10,000 feet. And this mountain has the guarantee of snow all year long. So even if you are traveling in summer and you would like to see the snow in Switzerland, then this is a good mountain to go to because there are a lot of activities you can do here, which are included already in the cable car ticket. Think, for example, about visiting the suspension bridge. So you need a little bit nerves of steel if you want to cross this bridge, but you have fantastic view over the mountains. You can literally touch the snow. We have ice caves as well on top of Mount Titlis. There is an ice flyer that is a kind of chairlift. And with this chairlift, you can make a journey over the glacier of Mount Titlis. That is just, I would say, a fantastic experience. The ride takes more or less 15 minutes and you have fantastic views on the way. So this is a good mountain to visit, not on the first day because it's 10,000 feet. But if you go the previous day to Mount Rigi, you are used already a little bit to altitude. Mount Rigi is approximately 1,800 meters. And this one, Mount Titlis, a little bit more, goes up to 3,000 meters. So then you have a good starting point with Mount Rigi. And the day after, you can easily go to Mount Titlis and get used to the altitude. Then after visiting Mount Titlis, you can decide if you would like to stay a little bit longer in the village where the cable car station is. That's possible. Or maybe you want to travel back to Lucerne and explore a little bit more the Lucerne area. Or you might want to take already a panoramic train from Lucerne to Interlaken, which is in the center of the country. So it's possible to do this all on one day because, as we said, the travel time and distances in Switzerland are not very long. the cities of Lucerne and Interlaken, for example, are not very, very far away from each other. From Lucerne to Interlaken, you take maybe 1 hour by train, more or less, not more. Then we have the next day, which is day 4. And as you are on holidays, we have planned in a day at leisure as well, where you can do whatever suits your tastes and whatever suits your budget as well. We would be in Interlaken. Interlaken is a beautiful town with plenty of possibilities. It's actually the center of, I would say, outdoor sports, and it's surrounded by high mountains. So from Interlaken, you can very easily visit the famous Jungfraujoch mountain. This is the top of Europe with the highest railway station in Europe. Or you can visit the Schildhorn mountain, which is very famous because of the James Bond movie. You can go hiking if you like in the Grindelwald or Lauterbrunnen area, not too far away from Interlaken. You can take a train and in 15 to 20 minutes, you are in this hiking paradise, I would say, and you have plenty of possibilities. You can visit the beautiful waterfalls in the area. Very nice half-day excursion as well. And if you rather feel you want to stay in Interlaken itself and maybe do some shopping in the afternoon, for example, or walk around a little bit, that is also possible because Interlaken precisely has many, many shops where you can buy some nice souvenirs and some nice gifts typical from Switzerland. For example, watches, the Swiss knives, the chocolates, many types of cheese, for example. You can find everything there. And apart from that, in Interlaken, there is a nice area with a lot of discounts for those who love shopping. And you can also get a tax refund. So that's a nice complementary thing you could do in the area of Interlaken, so in the center of the country. So totally up to you. If you want to do more sportive things, possible here. If you would rather have a day at leisure and sleep a little bit longer, maybe in the morning, or just walk around a little bit in the area, also possible, because at the end of the day, you are on holidays and you also want to have some relaxing time. Then on day 5, in our itinerary would be a Thursday. We would plan to travel by train again to Montreux. Montreux is in the western part of Switzerland. Montreux is the area very famous because of the lake of Geneva, Lac Le Mans, we call it as well. So it's located at the foot of the lake. And it's very famous, this area, because of all these many vineyards. We have been talking about trying the Swiss wine which is not very famous and basically only possible to taste in Switzerland. So definitely something to do on day 5. You can do a wine tasting, you can do a hiking tour through the vineyards in the afternoon, you can do a cycling tour through the vineyards in the afternoon in the area. So absolutely a beautiful day to spend here near the Lake of Geneva. In summertime as well, possible to go swimming in the Lake of Geneva. There is a small artificial beach here even in the area, where you could take some sun if you like to do that. If you don't do that much at home, you can do that in Switzerland as well and go swimming in the lake. Something cultural if you would like to do for a change. There is a beautiful castle which can be visited. There is guided tours, for example, to visit this castle. And here as well, this is the area where you can do a hiking tour with a herbalist and maybe use the herbs to make your own meal as well. So this is really a nature experience. Overnight, we would say to spend your night in Montreux because the views are beautiful and then you have a nice time at rest in the evening. Day 6 in our itinerary would be a Friday. And we would propose to travel by train until the south of Switzerland, the typical and very famous village called Zermatt. Zermatt is very famous because of the Matterhorn mountain. Higher even, we have on purpose planned this visit a little bit later in the itinerary because this goes up to 4,000 meters. So we go from 2,000 more or less with Mount Rigi to 3,000 with Mount Tigris, until 4,000 when we visit Zermatt and the Matterhorn area. When you reach Zermatt, Zermatt is a car-free village, so you can travel until here easily by train. There are very, very good connections. And in the afternoon, it would be possible to visit the Gornergrat mountain, which is on one side from where you have a great view over the Matterhorn mountain itself. Or you can decide to go up directly the Klein Matterhorn mountain, which is very close from the real Matterhorn. Now, the photo you can see here with the lake, this lake is called Riffelsee. This is actually the best place, I would say, to take pictures from the Matterhorn mountain. This is what you see if you would travel by train up to the Gornergrat. In the evening, what you can do, spend some time at leisure again, go for a nice dinner. Maybe you want to try some typical Swiss cheese dishes. That is very well possible here in Zermatt. The fondue with the white wine and the raclette, maybe also a cheese dish if you would like. An option you would have, of course, is to do a hike in the afternoon around this lake, around Lake Riffelsee, if you like to do something like that and get the best pictures from the Matterhorn mountain. Or even if you want even more adventure, you can go skiing in the afternoon as well, near the Matterhorn mountain. Of course, this is quite a challenging area to go skiing, so I would recommend to do this only if you have some experience, but you can definitely touch the snow, also in summertime. So if you would like to try out something like that, possible as well. Overnight, we would say overnight in Zermatt, because then you have the best and the most of the time to really enjoy also some hours at leisure in this beautiful village, which is absolutely worth a visit, because this visit has many of the typical wooden houses we know from the pictures with the beautiful flowers on the balconies. So it's really typical for Switzerland. Then the next day, a relaxing day. A relaxing day doesn't mean you stay at the same place. No, you will travel quite some kilometers, but you don't have to do much for it, because you can take one of the most beautiful panoramic train rides in Switzerland, which is called the Glacier Express. And this takes you from Zermatt, so in the south of the country, until St. Moritz, completely in the east of the country, in approximately 8 hours time. So this is one of the longest train rides, 8 hours train ride, but it's a very relaxing one. That's why we have planned it like basically as a day of leisure a little bit, because you can just sit on the train and watch the beautiful views, have some nice meal on the train as well, take the most beautiful pictures, and then at the end of the day reach St. Moritz when you are in a completely different area again. If you like, and if you are an early bird, and as you spend the rest of the day in the train and you don't have to worry so much with being active, in the morning you could wake up a little bit earlier and do some morning photography near the lake we have just been talking about, or on the bridge itself in Zermatt, because from the bridge in the center of the village, you also have a fantastic view over the Matterhorn mountain. So this is definitely a picture you should take, I think, because it's beautiful to show your family members and friends back home you have been so close from this beautiful mountain. Overnight, at the end of day 7, when you reach St. Moritz, would be in St. Moritz itself. Then on day 8, again a Sunday, so we are already a full week in Switzerland and we have seen quite a lot. We would suggest to spend some time at leisure. In St. Moritz as well, there is a lot of things to do. There is a beautiful lake as well where you can go hiking. The village itself is wonderful to visit. This village has a lot of sunny hours, a lot of sunny days, over 300 per year. And because you are quite high, so many times you are above the clouds. And a possibility on this day to do, we leave it up to you if you feel energy to do something like that, is visit the Swiss National Park in the area, with beautiful flora and fauna and beautiful hiking trails as well. So this could be something nice to do after a full day in the train. If you feel like you want to move a little bit again, this is a nice option to do on the Sunday. Then the last day, all good things come to an end. The Monday, the departure day. The good thing about this is that there is an evening flight to Singapore. So that means when you arrive, it's a morning flight. So you are early in Switzerland and you can really make profit of the full day. And on your departure day, you have actually the full day until in the evening you fly. So you still have a full day to discover and explore Switzerland. What you can do is travel by train from St. Moritz to Zurich, if you like. It's quite a long ride and you have to change trains a couple of times, but it's very well doable. Or we can organize as well a private transfer, of course, from St. Moritz to Zurich. By car, you would take more or less 3 hours to reach Zurich airport. Then on the way, you could make a stop if you would like in one of the most famous outlets of Switzerland. If you want to do some outlet shopping, some last buyings for going back home, or some other stops on the way. The oldest city in Switzerland, which is called Chur, is also on the way. If you want to do some last hikes, is also possible. And then we would reach Zurich, where you can still spend some time to buy some last souvenirs maybe, or to have a last nice Swiss meal before you go on your flight. And afterwards, we would accompany you on a transfer back to Zurich airport. Then, of course, we help you with the check-in, we help you with your luggage, we make sure that everything goes smooth. And then in the evening, you would have the flights back to Singapore. So this is a sample itinerary of 9 days with many, many inclusions, a lot of things you can do. It's a little bit a combination of nature, of active holidays, with hiking, if you like, with partly cycling, with traveling by train, with visiting mountains. So it's a very complete one. But of course, as Ming mentioned, it depends totally on the pace you want to travel. Because on this one, with these 9 days, we overnight, not every night in a different town, but we have quite some movements during the days to make sure we can see the maximum of Switzerland in 9 days' time. Of course, if you feel like you want to travel on a lower pace, you can also decide to first visit maybe more northern Switzerland and then come back and visit maybe more southern Switzerland or more the eastern part. Or maybe you plan holidays and you only want to go hiking. Or maybe you want to focus completely on traveling by train and include some more panoramic train rides. So that's basically what Topliners Club and Swiss Epic Tours does. We really design the program the way you like it. So there is plenty of possibilities. This is just one example, and you can take bits and pieces from it, and then we can amend it and adapt it completely to your interests, to your time, to your budget, and so on. Okay. So this is the first one, a very complete itinerary of Switzerland. I don't know if Ming or Oliver maybe would like to add something, or maybe there are some questions about this itinerary. Then we are, of course,
meanwhile, do we have any questions from the audience regarding this itinerary before we move on to the next one that we would like to share?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, meantime, maybe I would like to check with Oliver, since you are the expert here. What do you think of this itinerary? Are we seeing enough of Switzerland?
Never. You don't never see enough of Switzerland.
Oh, you are the wrong person to ask.
No, I mean, you see a lot. And I was just, during the presentation, I was reflecting my own itinerary I did last year when I was in Switzerland for about the same number of days. And I also went to a lot of mountains, and even though I thought in the beginning, no, you cannot do so many mountains, but still, you want to go up because there is another view and there is another additional experience, and then here you can touch snow, and here you have a wonderful view over the lake, and so it's really worth. And also with Zermatt, you have this picturesque village where you can take hundreds of pictures. You have the French part of Switzerland, you have the mountains, you have the cities, you really have a good mix of everything. But still, there is more to discover. I mean, now in this itinerary, we didn't touch the Italian part of Switzerland. This is again a different kind of setting. It's almost like Italy, so it's a different kind of climate. You have the palm trees there, you have different type of food. So that's something you can say for a next trip. Then there is also we didn't really go to the capital, I guess. I didn't see that. Visit the city of Bern is also with the bear park. There are many other hidden secrets. I think it's good for a first visit to see the icons. of Switzerland, and there is always space and time to come back and do something completely different and focus maybe on something, like focus on a specific type of traveling, more active or more relaxing. So it should be more with food and wine and the relaxation part, or you say I want to go to the cities where I have a lot of culture. There are so many options. Or if you do one trip in summertime, do the next trip in wintertime, because the same place looks different in a different season. So you never see enough of Switzerland, definitely not. But it's a very good start.
Yep, I agree. Yeah. So personally, for me, I would think that if you were to base on this exact itinerary, and it's the first time that I'm traveling to Switzerland, I will probably want to add another at least 3 days into this itinerary. So certain towns I would like to spend at least 2 or 3 nights there. Yeah. So for example, like Interlaken, there's just so many options there that you can make use of, and so many beautiful mountains that you can go to. It would be a waste if you are just there for 1 day. And even for a small town like Zermatt, okay, seeing the Matterhorn, there's just so many ways to see it. If you go to Gornergruck, is one way, one angle of the Matterhorn, which we are all very familiar with. And if you go to Glacier Paradise, is another perspective of the Matterhorn, and then you see and do very different things as well. So these different towns actually offer so many different options and flexibility for you to add into your itinerary, or to basically lengthen it, to maximize your time there.
Yeah, and if you have some time in a destination or in a city, if you have some extra time, then you can really do some local experiences, like a bit more hands-on experience. So you can make your own chocolate, and you have something to bring home that, hey, you give to your loved ones that this is what I made with my own hands. Or you can do a cheese workshop, or something that you really make your own souvenir and bring it home afterwards. And then then you maybe need 2-3 hours in a place where you really can focus on that. And this gives you more options when you have an additional day in a city or in one of those mountain villages.
Yeah. So something that we did not touch in this session, because we already touched in the previous session, is basically the Swiss Travel Pass. Okay, the Swiss Travel Pass that we have included here is basically the Swiss Flex Travel Pass. So that is the flexible travel pass that you can choose. Basically, in your entire itinerary, which day you want it to be effective. Okay, but there's also one that basically covers 4 days, 8 days, that kind of length, and every day you are covered. So you can take any bus, trains, some panoramic trains, and then cover some of the mountain excursions. So that is another kind of pass that you can actually look at. Okay. So yeah, I think we don't have any questions at this moment. I think there are only 2 possibilities. We have no questions now. One is that they have all fallen asleep. The other is that they are looking for flights now. No, when is the first flight into Switzerland? No, I'm suspecting it's the first one. Okay, if there are no other questions, maybe we can move on.
Let's hope it's the second one. And I would like to add something. I mean, what Oliver said is right. You might think in the beginning, like, oh, all these mountains, I don't know if I can visit them all during my holidays, and maybe if I go to 1 or 2, I have enough. But I can assure you, you can't get enough of Switzerland. I mean, I'm living here and I love to go to the mountains. And even though I have visited Mount Tigris 1,000 of times, every time I go there, I think, whoa, this is really beautiful, because it depends on the time of the year. The atmosphere changes completely. You have fantastic views. It's something so nice to do. And then you have the Mount Rigi, which is totally different with totally different views. Then you are in Zermatt and you see this Matterhorn, this very iconic mountain. So when you are in Switzerland, I mean, we have many things to do, but you can't really get bored of these views and this way of traveling. Even the train ride itself, I mean, in this itinerary you travel maximum, I would say, 1.5 hours per day, because the distances are not very long, and it's just relaxing to be on the train, to look out of the window, to see these beautiful villages, these beautiful mountain views, these typical houses with the flowers. It's just a fantastic way of traveling, and it's very comfortable in Switzerland. So yeah, I would definitely recommend to make use of this Swiss travel pass and this Swiss travel system, because it works very well, it's accurate, and you always have good connections. So that as last words about this 9 days itinerary. Then, of course, as we have been speaking about cycling in Switzerland as well, we have here an example of a cycling route. Of course, there are many other possibilities, but this one is called, we can say, the green route, and it's an e-bike route in the western part of Switzerland. So it would start here in the north of Switzerland, Schaffhausen. This is at approximately 45 minutes away from Zurich Airport, where it starts. So on your arrival day, we could travel until Schaffhausen by train again, or by private transfer, and then you could start your cycling route. This town in the north of Switzerland is very famous as well, because these beautiful waterfalls, the Rhine Falls, are not so far away from here. Now, this is a route which goes from Schaffhausen in the north until Geneva, completely in the southwest of Switzerland, in the border with France. And it's, yeah, we can say it's cut in 7 different stages. And if you would follow these stages, you would cycle like approximately 60 kilometers per day. That is the average, more or less. At the beginning, a little bit more, because there are less hills. When you go a little bit more towards the south, it's a little bit more climbing, a little bit more going up, going down. So maybe the first days you cycle 75 kilometers per day. And then when you come towards Geneva, it goes to 40, 45 kilometers per day. So not too long, the distance. And of course, we can do this route very well with an e-bike. That's something we would suggest as well, because there are some hills to climb. And with an e-bike, it's very comfortable to do that. Now, you stay all the time basically in the western part near the border with France, and it's a beautiful route because you have fantastic landscapes on the way. You cross also by the watchmaking area, and you actually cross, which I think is kind of a highlight, you cross 2 different language areas. Namely, the first part is the German-speaking part of Switzerland. And when you come more towards the south, you can see it already a little bit in the way the names they are written. So from stage 4 until stage 7, you are in the French-speaking part of the country. And finally, you end up in Geneva, and that's a very international town. Now, a couple of highlights. And again, this is a route designed for 7 days. But of course, if you feel like you want to take a little bit longer, you have 2 weeks time, for example, or you have 10 days time, then you can easily do that. It's not carved into stone that you have to do it this way. Some highlights for the trip. As you can see, some beautiful pictures from the way as well. It looks pretty easy like this with an e-bike, no effort at all. It's e-biking from east to west of Switzerland, so northeast until southwest. You would pass through 6 regional nature parks of Switzerland with beautiful views and some vibrant park landscapes, as we can see. Many undiscovered places, so here you can stop again and do some local experiences, as Oliver mentioned before, to give it really a personal touch, your itinerary. And you can visit wine growers, you can visit farmers and their horses, you can visit musical instrument makers, watchmaking workshops, and so on. Maybe some cheese making on the way as well. So this route, I would say, is more into nature than into culture. You're really close from nature with all these natural experiences. I will go back to the map for you can see again where precisely it is. So, as mentioned, 7 stages, that's how it's planned, and that's what's doable. So if you have 1 week time or these 9 days of holidays, maybe the first day you do not want to start yet, but you want to have some time at leisure, for example, in Zurich, and start only on day 2, absolutely possible. And then if you have the last day from Geneva, you can travel back, for example, by train until Zurich, or you can fly even from Geneva back to Zurich and afterwards fly back to Singapore. So this is a good, comfortable route to do in 1 week time. But again, If you feel like, okay, I want to take a little bit longer because there is so many things I want to see on the way, you can of course adjust. Another possibility is as well, if you feel like, okay, I like cycling, but 7 days is a little bit too much for me, then you can skip parts cycling and do parts by train, for example. Now, if you are worried about your luggage, because you see here also you overnight every night at a different place, do not worry. If you would book a route like this, the luggage transportation every day is included. So you just go cycling with maybe a backpack, maybe a picnic, or maybe the picnic box from the Grand Tour of Switzerland, also possible to take with you to have some nice lunch or dinner in restaurants, or maybe you take some sandwiches or something else with you in your backpack and you look for the most beautiful views where you can organize your own picnic, also possible. So totally up to you, completely how you would like to do it. And if you feel tired, just cycle to the next train station, get on the train with your bicycle and continue the route. So this is a little bit more a sportive way of traveling, I would say, a little bit more into nature if you compare it to the previous itinerary. And it goes a little bit slower than the 9 days itinerary where you see all of Switzerland. But I still think that with this cycling route, you come to see the best or some of the best things Switzerland has to offer. I don't know if there are some questions about this itinerary, or if Oliver or Ming would like to add something more.
Just something to add. For this itinerary, basically, you don't have to bring your own bicycle along, okay, from Singapore. Okay, we can basically rent the bicycles for you, and upon arrival, whether it's at the hotel or we will arrange for you to pick up your bicycles in Switzerland. So that's basically how you do it. You don't have to bring your own bikes, okay? Oliver, anything you want to add regarding this?
No, that's. I mean, you mentioned it before. It's maybe not for a first timer because it's really like some hidden treasures there. Also in a culinary way, you know, eating is always important. I know that. I learned that in the last 6.5 years in Singapore. You really can also discover some local specialties along the way that are really typical for one of those small valleys or villages. Don't expect too much, what shall I say? Not excitement is the wrong thing, because it is exciting because it's a landscape, but it's not, you won't meet a lot of people. You won't meet a lot of crowded places. So it is really a relaxing way, even though it's an active way to explore Switzerland. And I think I never did that, or never the whole route, and never with the bicycle, but I think this is something I have to put on my list as well.
Yeah,
thank you.
I think one of the advantages maybe of this route can be that it's true, you are far away from the crowds, so that's good. Maybe with the new way of traveling, you can feel very comfortable, and the people you will meet on the way are pretty much locals. And locals will, of course, give you a very nice, typical insight in the country. So that is a huge advantage, I think, for this route. So it's a little bit more off the beaten path, we can say it.
Definitely.
Not with famous mountains as Mount Tigris and Mount Rigi and Lucerne and Zurich and so. So it's good for nature lovers, it's good for cycling lovers, and it's good for people who have been already to Switzerland and say, hey, I want to do a little bit more something into nature. And this is definitely a very good option to choose.
So yes, Chris is asking about the number of hours that they need to cycle a day. Like I mentioned, and also Catharina mentioned just now, is entirely up to you. You know how long you want to cycle. Even because this is just a sample route for you. So even let's say you don't want to cycle from stage 1 to 7, you can probably do a stage 1 to 2 by public transport, and then 2 to 5, you know, you can do the cycling, and then the remaining you do in public transport again. You know, that is actually how you can play around with, you know, whether it's e-biking or the public transport. These are some of the options that you can take depending on your fitness level. But definitely, if you are not an active person, or rather you don't do any form of exercise in Singapore, I wouldn't recommend that you take on this full route, by e-bicycle because I think you suffer a little bit. Okay, but for those who are quite active, you do some exercises, you like being on the bicycle, you like to be close to nature, and you like the local authentic experiences, then this is the right itinerary for you.
Agree.
Yeah.
If you just want to try one cycling day, then you can actually take the itinerary we talked about before and just include a cycling day. Also in the cities you can rent bicycles, and for example on the sample itinerary before, when you arrive in Zurich on a Sunday, usually Sundays in Zurich are not very crowded because no one is working, so the old town of Zurich is almost empty, so you can just take a bicycle and drive around, ride around through the old town. So that's also quite a nice cycling experience if you just want to try it out once without making too many kilometers.
Yeah.
So for those for the benefit of those who thought that this is actually it could be a biking marathon, rest assured it is not. It's still at a very leisure pace. You can still explore a lot of hidden treasures, like Oliver said, within the so-called off the beaten path Switzerland region. So it's still a leisure itinerary that you can take on. Definitely not something like a marathon that you have to do. Okay, but you do need to have you do need to be active. You cannot be totally inactive and then suddenly you go there and you start cycling 50-60 kilometers a day. Yeah. Any more questions from the crowd? For hygiene purpose, I prefer to bring my own cycling helmet. Yes, sure. For sure. Any personal equipment that you would like to have, I would recommend that you bring on your own. Some people like to bring their own elbow pads, knee pads, for protection. Some people like to have the phone holders for the bicycle, so that you can put your phone in. You can mount your phone in front as a GPS, or you can look at the maps. So these are all things that you can bring on your own. Okay. Hope I answered all the questions. Let me just see.
Yeah, there are no other questions so far.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Then I will just share the contact details. So, of course, we would love to welcome you all in Switzerland when it's possible again, and we are ready. So we are waiting for you already at the airport. And as soon as your flight lands, we would love to show you around here. And of course, as we wanted to keep the session a maximum of 1 hour, we have shared a little bit more general itinerary today and a little bit more off the beaten path, so a little bit more active. But there are over 1 million possibilities to explore, and we can totally, together with Ming and Julian, we can totally design it the way you would like to do it, the pace you want to travel, what kind of accommodation you like, what kind of activities you would like to do, if you want recommendation on food. Actually, everything is doable. And we are excited, and we hope that some of you might consider traveling to Switzerland, maybe already coming summer or coming autumn, whenever it's possible again. We are here, and we are always happy to share information, to share possibilities, to share knowledge, and to share ideas with you.
Okay, we have one question from Azima. Pardon me if I didn't pronounce your name properly. She's asking how big is the group traveling together? Okay, so for this itinerary that we have stated here, usually for our style is because we are making all the itineraries for you. It's up to you how big a group you want to travel with. So it could be with just your friends, it could be just you and your partner, or just you and your family. The group size is entirely up to you. This is not a set departure kind of itinerary. You can decide on the month you want to travel in, the date you want to travel. It's totally up to you. Yeah, of course, with more people, the package will so-called be cheaper in a way, because of the sharing and stuff like that.
But my recommendation, don't make the groups too big. I think all the activities we see right now, or we saw right now, are getting a bit easier and more convenient if the group size is a bit smaller. Like like 4 or 5 people is probably a good size.
Yeah. So we don't do the big group tours like the 40-person per bus kind of tours. Yeah. Everything is on a private basis.
That's why you're also so flexible to create the itineraries according to the wishes of the client.
Yes. The more people you have in the group, the more kinds of different requests as well as interests you have, and then it will be quite impossible to fit everybody's interest into one trip. So go with people of the same mind, same interest. So it's fun, you enjoy the companionship as well as the country itself. Okay, any more questions? Any final things to add, Oliver and Catharina?
Yeah, I would just say to start planning or dreaming about the next trip to Switzerland and to get some more inspiration. So I recommend to visit the website myswitzerland.com because there is an excellent experience finder. So you can choose what kind of experience you want. And I just did a quick check before. So if I want to do my own chocolate, there are 25 experiences where you can do your own chocolate. Maybe I can share this link in the chat right now. And then once you have all the experiences that you want to make in Switzerland, you put them together, then you contact Ming or Julian and say, hey, I want these experiences to be in one itinerary. And then Ming and Catharina, they will design the perfect itinerary for you. And in the end, you will have a fantastic Switzerland trip. So I think this is my challenge for you. Check the experience finder and then challenge Ming.
Yes, thank you for making our job easier. Okay, in fact, our biggest challenge is when customers come to us and tell us, no, actually, I don't know what I want to do. No, that is our biggest challenge. So it's always good that you know roughly what kind of interest or what kind of things you want to see. And then we will take care of all the arrangement as well as the logistics for you to make sure that everything is smooth. Okay, Yinghua is asking a very important question. May I know what is the estimated budget for this 9-day trip? Okay, this is always $1 million question. Yeah?
The sky is the limit.
Yeah, it's a very tough question to answer. Okay, but still, I would like to actually give you a ballpark figure. Okay, because ultimately, how much the budget for this trip will depends on the class of hotel, what kind of transport you want to use, what kind of activities you want to include, even which season you are traveling in, and the group size that you are traveling with. All these factors actually plays a part in the price. So for Switzerland, I would think that for a 9 days itinerary like this, typically I would recommend that you save about 3,000 to 5,000 Sing dollars per person. Okay, for you to have a very comfortable or rather a very effective way of traveling, because it's not exactly a very near country to travel to. So, and then you do not want to go there for a week and come back just like that. So you want to spend enough time to really experience the place. So I would think that the amount for this place, roughly about 4-star, would be about 3,000 to 5,000 Sing dollars per person. Okay, per person.
Yeah, but then again, as Oliver mentioned before, and what we with Swissapic Tours want to do as well, we want to make Switzerland a pleasure to visit for everybody and also for everybody's budget. So it's important to know a little bit what is the budget, and based on that, then we can put some things together. Maybe it's not important to go to the most popular highest mountain, but we go to like a more B mountain. in which way you can already save a little bit. You have still beautiful views. And then also the way of transportation, the kind of hotel. Do you want to stay in the city center or a little bit more in villages, for example? So if we know that, if we have that kind of information, we can play with that and we can design an itinerary that suits your budget and your interests, because everything is tailor-made. So everything is possible.
Yep. So Alan is asking, excluding air tickets, I presume. Yes, typically we exclude the air ticket because some of you will want to use your credit card miles or even your KrisFlyer miles to redeem your tickets. So that's entirely up to you. Okay, and basically for this budget, you are looking at maybe 4-star hotel. Most of the activities that we have indicated inside here, and also first class tickets for the Swiss Travel Pass. Yeah, so more or less it covers your trip. Meals, we can do it both ways. One way is that we include all the meals for you. The other way is that we give you a list of restaurants, okay, that we will actually recommend in each town. And depending on your mood for the day, you can visit the different restaurants or cuisines that you like. You know, one of the days you may possibly say, oh, I suddenly have the Asian craving now and I want rice. So within the list, we'll have some of these cuisines for you to choose from. Okay, any more questions at this moment? Okay, so for those who have some other questions that you think of later, okay, that you're unable to ask now, feel free to write to us at this email that I've just typed into the chat box, and we will answer them promptly. Okay, if there are no final questions, I would like to thank our two guest speakers, Catharina and Oliver, who have also selflessly shared their knowledge and experiences with us over the past few months. So let's catch up for a really good meal in Singapore or Switzerland when things are better. Okay, I would think that probably I'll be able to meet Oliver first for a meal.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, before we see Catharina in Switzerland, yeah?
Yeah, I'm very close from the airport actually. So as I mentioned, I will be waiting for you with pleasure.
Okay, I hope I'm the first one to be there.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, the two of you. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, for spending these precious nights and sharing the passion for travel with us. So we hope that with these sessions, you had some very good takeaway. And finally, we wish you a great week ahead. Please stay positive, stay safe, because without being safe, you can't travel in future. Okay, and please take good care of yourself. Okay, good night. Please let us know if we can be of any help to you. Yeah, thank you, and goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you
Thanks
very
for
much.
joining us.